I'll call you back. What have you done to yourself?
I've been working out. Can you tell? Oh, bummer.
Hey, what's going on, folks? Captain Forrest here. I hope you guys had a really good Christmas. And in today's video, I'll be power scaling Nightcrawler from, of course, Marvel 616. He's one of the team members of the X-Men. Before I get right into the video, of course, I'd like to give a shout out to Phoenix for helping me with the video in terms of scans, providing me information. Much appreciated. Now, X-Men as a whole is quite underrated, with some exceptions. Now, I've taken the time to read some X-Men comics, and I do remember when I was younger, when I used to watch some of the TV shows such as X-Men Evolution, the old X-Men cartoons like the X-Men 90s, the TV show, and I used to even watch Wolverine and the X-Men. That was also a thing too, and some of the movies. And one of the characters that kind of spoke to me more, and I always felt like he was very interesting and mysterious, was Nightcrawler. Now, Nightcrawler, in my opinion, is one of the more enigmatic characters, with his signature teleporting powers. I had no idea what this, what Nightcrawler was about. All I knew was just a cool mutant with teleportation powers, and so on and so forth. But yes, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the quick backstory. Then I'm going to get right into the juicy stuff. I'm going to go ahead and talk about all his special abilities, his attack potency, speed, etc, etc. So, Kurt, aka Nightcrawler, he is the son of Mystique and Azazel. He was born into the world where mutants and humans do not see eye to eye. Upon giving birth to Kurt, Mystique's mutant powers manifested from the pain and trauma, and she escaped the hospital as the humans attempted to kill her. She ran away in the woods and fell unconscious from the fatigue, and Kurt was left on the river to be swept away. A random woman who worked at the circus had stumbled upon the young Kurt and was brought into the circus. For majority of his upbringing, he would be seen as the circus's attraction and was also known as the Blue Demon. He would go on to perform for the circus and become proficient in acrobatics. But his life as a circus performer was not quite peaches and creams. After a performance, the circus owner would sedate poor Kurt and lock him away like a caged animal. One day, the circus owner decided to sell Kurt off as he could no longer afford to pay for the sedatives that would keep him pretty much groggy and delirious. The woman caught word of it and tried to save Kurt by helping him escape. Now, Kurt left the circus but was delirious because of the sedatives being constantly pumped into him, and on his way out he accidentally knocked over a torch, which caused the circus to be set ablaze. This angered the circus owner, and he and his gunmen went on a hunt to execute Kurt. They caught him, and he was ready to shoot Kurt. But this scary event triggered Kurt's mutant powers, causing him to teleport, making a distinctive sound, BAMF, and he escaped. He then found a church, and the father of the church welcomed Kurt with open arms and looked after him. This healed Kurt's mind, making him feel hopeful for humanity. But then the circus owner pulled up and was not done with Kurt, as he was been chasing him for a good while. Father tried to talk the owner down, but was attacked, and this angered Kurt, and Kurt proceeded to whoop his ass to the point where Father had to tell him to stop, and that killing was not the answer. So that's pretty much it for the origin story of Nightcrawler. That's the more consistent variant. That's the sad backstory of Nightcrawler. So anyway, folks, now that you guys are up to speed with how Nightcrawler, who Nightcrawler is and his backstory, let's get right into the power scaling, shall we? So in terms of attack potency, Nightcrawler is around city block to multi-city block. Nightcrawler has harmed the likes of Spider-Man, damaged Beast, and also harmed trolls who are comparable to Beast. Beast has also shown to be relative to Wolverine, the same Wolverine that hurt Deadpool, and Deadpool himself has taken an explosion that was calced at multi-city block. If you folks would like this calculation, I shall leave it in the description. So now moving on to speed, Nightcrawler is FTL. He was able to react to Super Skrull, who was using Cyclops' optic blasts, and characters like Wolverine can react to Cyclops' optic blasts. It has also been stated that Cyclops' optic blast moves at the speed of light. Also, credits to Hellfire Productions for the calculation. If you guys want the calc, I shall leave that in the description. Now, Spider-Man himself has stated Nightcrawler is just as fast and agile as him. The same Spider-Man has reacted to Dazzler, who can travel at light speed, and she can also transmutate sound waves into light. The same Dazzler even complimented Spider-Man, stating he's the fastest she's ever seen. So this is quite consistent. So that's pretty much it for the attack potency and speed. I'm going to go on right into the powers and abilities. So Nightcrawler's noticeable mutant power is teleportation. He can teleport to a different area, to different areas, such as teleporting from a volcano to a nearby city, then into orbit. He can teleport Jean across a country and back to the X-Men mansion within no time. He's teleported inside a helicopter, and he can also sneak up on his opponents with his teleportation, such as teleporting into Doom's castle and jumping his guards. Nightcrawler has also shown to teleport across dimensions, and even while heavily fatigued while holding passengers and spamming his teleportation previously, he was still able to teleport from Kansas to Las Vegas to Utopia. His teleportation can cause damage onto passengers, causing them to feel sick and dizzy and nauseous, and can even fall unconscious. His teleportation can also inflict damage comparable to that of Wolverine's adamantium. His teleportation is also shown to negate durability, as he shows to teleport limbs off sentinels. When he performs his teleportation, he can also do it to like robots, and he's also done it to Sabretooth. When he was fighting Sabretooth, he teleported Sabretooth's ear off. He was also able to teleport. He's also able to teleport your hand and use it against you. And he has demonstrated his creativity with his teleportation powers. He has used his teleportation powers to immobilize foes into objects like walls and make them phase through objects. And he's also teleported objects into people. Nightcrawler will also resort to BFRing his targets to different locations in the world. For those who don't know what BFR means, it stands for Battlefield Removal. So Nightcrawler will do this. He does this a lot in battle. He has a tendency to BFR targets to different locations in the world. He's teleported people into dimensions and left them there, or he'll use the tactic to make his foes fall by teleporting them in the air to fall, especially characters who can't fly. He has used his teleportation in team situations, such as his team up with Rogue, where he teleported an enemy from a house into the sky to get punched by Rogue. Moving on to his fighting skill, Nightcrawler has often shown to use his ability and his quick thinking skills and his agility in combat. He usually uses his teleportation and his quick, fast, agile, and quick movement to blitz his targets consistently, and he overwhelms them in combat. He also shows to use his teleportation to correct his positioning in combat in order to land precise attacks during combat, and to teleport with pinpoint accuracy in order to get around his foes and to prevent himself from teleporting into unsafe areas, or just teleporting unsafely and basically using his teleportation to correct his form, which is very good, which shows that he has great proficiency with his teleportation and he doesn't use it recklessly. He has incredible agility and reflexes. He also has instinctive reaction. He's shown to like instinctively teleport and like tag people. He's also trained himself countless weeks in the X-Men mansion to combat foes comparable if not superior fighting skill, such as Beast and Wolverine in hand-to-hand combat. Nightcrawler also is knowledgeable on pressure points and has used it in combat to incapacitate his foes. Combining his crazy agility, he can perform pinpoint accuracy attacks and also use his foes' own weight and momentum against them. Nightcrawler is a very skilled swordsman. He's trained the likes of Deadpool and also Spider-Man in swordsmanship in order to fight people that out-precog his spidey sense. Nightcrawler embarrassed an entire interstellar swordsmanship tourney with very little difficulty. He was also able to disarm his father Azazel in a sword fight and uses his body very proficiently, such as using his tail in combat situations for wielding swords and restraining enemies. And Nightcrawler has also used his sword skillfully by attacking vital points on his target. Nightcrawler possesses inherent mutant abilities and characteristics that are unique to him, such as becoming virtually invisible when hiding in the dark, which means he's very stealthy and very hard to like decipher and very hard to like find, because he camouflages in the dark very well. And he can also see in the dark and climb up on walls, which is very impressive. Alright, that's pretty much it for all those abilities. I'm going to go ahead and talk about his skill in terms of like leadership and his intelligence. So Nightcrawler was able to become the official member, like official leader of the team of Excalibur, and Cyclops himself at one point even made Nightcrawler temporarily in charge of the X-Men. He made him the leader when Cyclops had to be absent for an important mission. Also in combat, he has great observational skills and info analysis, such as deducing a mutant's fighting style and weakness, and guides its team in order to secure the W. Also deduced to the X-Men that the Sentinels are genetic mutations. Now lastly, for Nightcrawler's gear and allies, Nightcrawler is known for using a sword in combat. He will also disarm his opponents and use their swords against them, usually in a 1v1 sword battle. And in areas where mutants aren't allowed, he will carry a image inducer to mask his appearance. And now that's pretty much it for all the equipment he carries. I'm going to go and talk about his little squads called the BAMPs, which are his little brothers essentially. They share the same powers as Nightcrawler himself, such as teleportation, and they themselves have teleported Nightcrawler to different dimensions and locations he has never teleported or seen. In combat, they offer Nightcrawler aid by spamming teleportation around his foes to overwhelm and distract them, and make his foes dizzy via the brimstone cloudy smell that is released when they teleport. They are very smart in combat, and they will BFR their foes and their weapons. And all the BAMPs together are strong enough to teleport a plane with people inside, which is pretty impressive. And lastly, Nightcrawler usually has the BAMPs help him in his day-to-day tasks, such as getting dressed and like getting prepared for an interview. But yes folks, that's pretty much it for the video and the power scaling video as a whole. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. It took some work, and shoutouts to Phoenix for the assist. Until next time folks, have a good Christmas.